Bill Sproull. I'm CEO of the Richardson Chamber of Commerce. Today is Thursday, November the 8th, and I've been looking at a lot of numbers since Tuesday's election. I've got some analysis that I'd like to share with you that's really pertinent to Richardson and our region and state. I'm not going to focus so much on the national elections, but things that directly impact us locally. I think to start with, there's three big trends that you need to be aware of that really impacted this election. The first is voter turnout. So in 2014, the last midterm election, about 4.7 million Texans turned out to vote. That increased to 8.3 million Texans in 2018. That's a change in percentage of voter turnout from 33.6% in 2014 to over 52% in 2018. Big jump in voter turnout, more people going to the polls. Those numbers are also reflected in both Dallas and Collin County, where turnout was in the high 30% and going up to 54 to 61% in Dallas and Collin County respectively. The second thing that happened is a large amount of early voting. 72% of Texans went to the polls early. Now, it was lower in the urbanized counties because there was such a surge of voters coming out on election day, but 72% statewide voted early. And the third, and perhaps one of the more consequential ones, is straight party ticket voting. This is the last election in Texas that you'll be able to punch a single ticket for the entire slate in one party. From now on, you're going to have to go to each race and pick a candidate to vote for. In Dallas County, almost 70% of all the votes cast were straight party ticket, compared to just 54% 4 years ago in 2014. And in Collin County, it was 2/3 of all votes cast this election were straight party ticket voting. So that change in no longer allowing straight party ticket voting, I think will have consequences in future elections where people are going to switch votes between candidates in different parties. Now, as for some of the races, all this meant there were some really tight races around our region, and I'm going to give you federal, state, county, and a local one, and you'll see how close things got. So let's start, for instance, with Congressional District 32. This was the race that featured Congressman Pete Sessions versus Colin Allred. Allred won 54 to 45 in that race. In Collin County, in Congressional District 3, which featured Van Taylor versus Lori Birch, just the opposite. He won 54% to 44%. That was one of the larger percentage wins for a Republican in Collin County, as you'll see as I keep going. In the statewide race for U.S. Senate, Senator Cruz beat Beto O'Rourke just 51 to 48%, extremely tight. Now, going on to the state Senate, in Collin County, Angela Paxton beat Mark Ferris 51 to 49%. I think, a much tighter race than most people ever expected. And then in Dallas County, incumbent Senator Huffines lost to Democrat Nathan Johnson 46 to 54%, similar to the Sessions-Allred race. There are three state representatives who have pieces of Richardson. Let's start with State Representative Angie Chen Button, who has Richardson, Garland, Saxe, Wiley. She's with House District 112. She beat Brandy Chambers 51 to 49. In fact, of the 14 state reps who are in Dallas County, only 2 Republicans won re-election, and she was one of them. The other one being Morgan Meyer, who won by a razor-thin margin in the Park Cities. The other Dallas County state rep that represents a portion of Richardson is State Representative Linda Coop. She faced Democrat Anna Marie Ramos. She lost 47% to 52%, and we certainly will thank her for her great service to us at an appropriate time. And then in Collin County, House District 67, State Representative Jeff Leach, the incumbent, beat Sarah Depew 51-49. Really close margins again for Representative Leach, for Senator-elect Paxton, and those wins in Collin County. You go to Dallas County, however, for the county level races, and the Democrats swept practically everything. Incumbent County Judge Clay Jenkins won by 63%. For the district attorney's race, John Creuzot, 60% to 40%. The sheriff's race, Marion Brown, a Democrat, won with 64%, but the county commissioner who represents a portion of Richardson, which is County Commissioner Precinct 2, J.J. Koch, won 52%. He was the only Republican to win there in Dallas County on a county level race. In Collin County, just the opposite. The Republicans won. So Chris Hill won the county judge's race, was 57% of the vote. Cheryl Williams, the incumbent county commissioner who represents Richardson, won with 55.5% of the vote. And then there were a number of propositions, 3 of them in fact, on the county ballot dealing with roads and parks, and those all passed in the high 60s to low 70s. The last election I'll mention is the school district, Richardson School District's tax ratification election. That's the one where they came to the voters and said we need to increase our basic maintenance and operations tax rate from $1.04 to $1.17, and that passed with 53.5% of the vote. Again, pretty close race, but very consequential for RISD, and we're happy for them. Now those teachers can get some well-deserved raises. So a lot of tightness in terms of races, where we'd seen lopsided races in the past. We're seeing a lot more competitive races. We're seeing much higher voter turnout. We're seeing a lot more early voting, but this was the last election that you can do straight party ticket voting, and I think that will have a consequence in the next election. That's it for today. Thanks.